everyone, I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much for joining me today. It is Tuesday, July 30th, 2024. Been having a small earthquakes form ever since there was a magnitude 4.9 earthquake yesterday about 1 o'clock local time. Any of these earthquakes could be a foreshock for something much larger to come. They won't know until the sequence of aftershocks is finished, and who knows how long that would last. This area is capable of having a magnitude 6.5 to a 7.1 earthquake. And it was along the Calico Fault Zone, which is drawn out in red along here. The fault zone is actually much wider than what these red lines show. Back in 1997, there was a magnitude 5.3, which they considered the northern area of the Calico Fault Zone. What they're not telling you, and I want to go into a little bit more, is that ever since the 1992 Landers earthquake, all the fault zones for the California East Shear Zone have increased in movement by about 40%. Does that increase the probability of larger earthquakes? Does it have anything to do with the weakening of our magnetic field? Does that increase the timing of large earthquakes? Hi everyone, I'm Mary with MaryGreeley News. Thank you very much for joining me. Please like, share, and subscribe. It's the end of the month. Google's censoring a lot of different things. Google owns YouTube, and YouTube, for some reason, likes to unsubscribe people from their favorite channel at the end of every month. So if you like getting notifications when people you follow put out new videos, you might want to check to make sure you're still subscribed. So out here in the Mojave Desert at about 1 p.m. local time, there was the magnitude 4.9. About 3 minutes later, there was a 3.5. Here's the 3.5 at 1:03 p.m. and then the 4.9 at exactly 1 p.m. Both of these earthquakes were given an intensity level of 6. And even though mainstream media is not covering, intensity level of 6 means there was damage. Oh, here we have intensity level 6, felt by all. Many were frightened and ran outdoors. Falling plaster and chimneys, damaged small. So you would have dishes that were broken, maybe thrown out of the cupboards, windows broken, cracks in your walls. You might want to check your water and gas lines. Things would have been thrown off of shelves. 3,943 people said that they felt this earthquake, sending reports to USGS. A shake alert was sent out, and let me show you that. Some of them got them maybe 20 seconds later, maybe after the shaking stopped, 10 seconds. And initially when the shaking was to begin, we got, let's see, Palmdale, they got a notice. Ridgecrest has been rocking and rolling over the last couple years. And 20 Pines, I don't know, 20 Palms, something like that. I can't read it, it's pretty small. So here we have the felt reports. And Barstow, intensity level 6. 2 people said they do have damage. And this one here, I believe, it's not going to show me right now. But that is at Newberry Springs. Maybe it was on the other report. So going back to Google Earth, I'm going to go to Newberry Springs. Here's all the earthquakes. And it's way off over here. There's a campground there. Not a lot of people. But there was 2 reports that said they have damage there. And this is Route 66. Looks like the farthest report northeast is Irvine, Nevada. We got a lot of reports from Las Vegas. Look at that. That one there, intensity level 4. Wow. So that would mean it was felt indoors by many, outdoors by a few, at night. Some may have been woken up. Well, maybe if they worked nights, they were sleeping during the day. Windows, dishes, and doors were rattling. Automobiles rocked noticeably all the way to Las Vegas. And that is Pahrump. What else we got? Let's see. Next to it, intensity level 2. I wonder what kind of ground they're on. Okay, we got another one. Let's see. Big Pine, intensity level 3. Yeah, it was probably larger than a 4.9, but you know how USGS likes to downgrade things. We got Bakersfield, and all the way down south to the border of Tijuana, San Diego area, intensity level 2. Oh, we got another one that's in green here. Okay, do we have a, no, intensity level 5. Wow, there's another intensity level 5. What areas are those? Can't really tell. We got Mount San Jacinto here. And the other one is Drake Lake. The 3.5, which was 3.5 minutes later after the 4.9, that was also given an intensity level of 6. And here you can see the fault actually moved going slightly northeast, which is the same direction that the fault zone moves. All right, I want to go in here. I think this is where I saw, yeah, Newberry Springs. Okay, intensity level 6. Okay, and not a lot of people. It was only 3 minutes later. Sent in reports. Let's see, Bullhead City, Parker, San Diego area, Lakeside, Santa Barbara, Los Angeles, Santa Monica, etc., Santa Ana. Yeah, what did it feel like? How long did it last? And what kind of damage did you have? Like I said, the news is not reporting any damage, but you definitely have some damage. All right, so I want to get into this fault movement that's increased by about 40% since the Landers earthquake in 1992. They're not telling you about. There was 2 earthquakes that were caused because of the Landers earthquake. One of them was a 6.4 that they call the Big Bear earthquake. Yeah, the 1992 Landers earthquake, a 7.3, changed all these faults to start moving more rapidly. Maybe, because of the Earth's magnetic field is getting weaker. I've talked about how we're going to have an increase in earthquakes and things like that. Plus, we should be being impacted by the solar flare, the cannibal solar flares. I reported that too. Is this where I want to go? No. But for the eastern shear zone fault zones to increase by 40%, that is really significant. And they're not telling people about that. So the Calico fault is a dextral right lateral fault movement. I got drawn out in little arrows the direction that the fault is moving. And before the Landers earthquake, all these faults in the eastern shear zone used to move between 1.0 to maybe 2.6 millimeters a year. That's what they used to move. They are now moving 10.5 to maybe a 3.1 millimeter a year. That is a big difference, which increases the risk of large earthquakes. And the frequency of earthquakes. They're not telling people about this. Down below, I have some documentation. It says more information. If you're watching on YouTube, I'll have links to these documents. If you're watching like on Fire TV or maybe a tablet, you won't have access to the more information. But it should be in a box below the video. But this increased fault movement is for all faults across the Mojave Desert. This earthquake actually only occurred about 30 miles from the San Andreas fault zone. So the Calico fault is about 34 miles or 55 kilometers in length. And what's interesting, it extends all the way down here by Barstow and actually gets wider through here. See that? The Mojave Desert is supposedly has large earthquakes really super big ones, about every 1,500 years. They know too that the Calico Fault could rupture at the same time as the Hidalgo Fault, which is also drawn out in red here. That fault is about 75 miles long, or about 115 kilometers. It too is a right lateral fault system, and I did have it drawn out. Oh, I'm showing you the wrong fault. Okay, this is the Hidalgo Fault, and then we also got the Landers Fault. So any of these faults could all rupture at the same time. They're all connected. You can see here, hopefully. So did you feel any of these recent earthquakes up there by Barstow? Give me your information. What kind of damage you might have had, or what did the motion feel like? And what is your thoughts about how these faults are now increasing in the amount of their movement? Yeah, rather shocking, a little scary. Thank you very much for watching. Please comment below. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.